Hello everyone, welcome to Franchise Focus, and I'm your host Lisa Lankowski. I am the owner of Milestone Franchising, and I'm a consultant in the franchising world, and I match people to concepts all across different industries, all at no cost to them. Franchise Focus is all about talking with people in the franchising industry and talking with those experts. And today, so excited to have with me Matt Woodcock with Fibrenew out in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Matt, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Lisa. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Matt, tell us about you. Tell us about how you got your start in the franchising world.
Wow, that is a great question for us to jump off with, Lisa. I actually put my big toe and my whole body into the franchising business back in about 2010 when I myself worked with a consultant much like yourself and purchased a franchise. It was an amazing opportunity for me. I, much like many of the people that might be watching this show, had a great career, but got that golden handshake. Came to me one day and said, Matt, we love you, but you can't come to work the next day due to economic constraints. And I had to find my next opportunity. And I realized I never wanted to put my future in the hands of anybody else. So I started looking for my own business. I knew a franchise was exactly the direction I wanted to go. And 10 years later, I've not only had my own franchise, I've grown it. I sold it for an amazing profit. And I've been part of a franchise development program working with many of your candidates to help them find their future in franchising.
Fantastic. So 10 years, and I'm roughly 7 years, and it's been quite a ride, and it continues to be on a regular basis. So what was the best thing about being a franchise owner for you?
Control. I mean, at the end of the day, prior to becoming my own boss, I was trading time for money. Really, that's what I was doing. I'd get up in the morning, I'd leave my house, I'd leave my family, I'd go work for somebody else for 7, 8, sometimes 12 hours a day. And in exchange, I got 2 checks a month. And I realized that that was not a future for me. I wanted to be in control. I wanted to be able to make decisions for myself, make decisions for my family. And once I realized that business ownership allowed me to do that, and a franchise gave me all of the resources, all of the knowledge, all of the background, so that I could start my business and grow it very fast. And just the success rate, I knew that's where I was going to go. And since then, I've never looked back, Lisa. I smile every single day.
Which is always a great thing to have, people smiling in their world, in their business, right? So you have your franchise business, you sell it for a great profit, and then you go into franchise development where you're then helping other people. Same track I took, owned a franchise, and now I'm helping other people find franchises, but yours is very specific. Yours is for one specific brand. Why did you continue in that path instead of just continuing to own your franchise or going into a different franchise?
Well, going back to our original thing about having control and smiling, nothing is more fulfilling for me than to help somebody realize their destiny, realize what they want to do. And I believe from my side, I love working. The company I work with is Fibrenew. We're experts in leather, vinyl, and plastic restoration. And I have such a passion for this company. I have such a belief in just the structure and the way this company has built and continues to grow 37 years later that I liked representing one company. Help them come in, see the same vision that I have. It just makes me feel complete each and every day.
Feeling complete, that's very good. So Fibrenew, where is Fibrenew based out of, Matt?
Fibrenew is based out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We were founded up there going back almost 3.5 decades ago. We've continued to grow. I often tell people we're growing like a weed in the spring. We will achieve a little over 265 franchise partners active in our system next month. We're active in 8 countries around the world, primarily North America, but what it's really based on, Lisa, is it's a foundation of success. This is a business model that has been built. It was built for the idea of helping our owners achieve that same level of control, that same level of being able to take care of the family the way they want to take care of, making sure they're not trading time for money. It's a very important ethos, if you will, and it's something that I've gravitated towards here at Fibrenew, and that's why I'm here.
So putting smiles on over 265 faces, that's got to continue to make you smile. And being out in Canada, what has that been like during the pandemic, with everything? I know Canada is still, not open things up. So how are you doing with that? You probably did training in person, I would assume, prior to the pandemic. So how did all of that work? What did that look like?
Absolutely. The fact that the borders between the United States and Canada have been closed for going on a year and a half now, believe it or not, business still had to continue, right? We still had to continue to grow. We still had many families that wanted to become part of the Fibrenew family. And so we've had to adjust. Prior to COVID, you're right, we would have new franchise owners come up and spend a couple weeks with us here in Fibrenew, here in Alberta, learning the skills, learning all the various aspects that make the business so successful. As you might expect with a company with that kind of track record and this kind of history, we have all the resources in place. We were able to take that in-person training and make it virtual by making sure that we keep our class sizes small, by making sure that we're continuing to give that one-on-one attention. When people come to Fibrenew, we can now train them anywhere in the world. They don't have to travel to us. We can send them through the program. We teach them color theory, material identification, how to execute the restorations at a Fibrenew quality. And some of that's the secret sauce behind the curtain, if you will, Lisa, but we've been able to be successful, and we've actually seen many of our owners have a much faster trajectory in growth. So once we return to normal, which everybody talks about happening very soon, we're going to have some open discussions about continuing virtual training, or again, opening up the border and having our family members come to Calgary and spend time with us.
That's incredible. And you took my next question. I was going to say, well, what's the future hold? And you're still trying to determine that, because if it's been working well and the owners are doing well with this and it's all transitioned smoothly, why upset the apple cart, so to speak? So that is amazing. It's so incredible how people have been able to adjust and change and redirect themselves during this time, and they have to. And those that don't, well, they tend to fall by the wayside. So were you fortunate enough, were most of your owners continuing to be still solvent during this difficult time?
Yes, we were very fortunate. Fibrenew, because we do cleaning and restoration, we were considered an essential business from the very beginning. So our franchise owners did not ever have to stop being in business. Now, of course, we wanted them to be safe, to protect themselves and make sure they protected their families, but here at Fibrenew, we work in so many unique categories, whether it's medical or commercial, aviation, marine, residential. I'll tell you, Lisa, everybody bought a camper this year, right? Everybody bought a camper. Well, unfortunately, those floors get damaged quite a bit. Having all of these various revenue streams, these silos of business, enabled our owners to be able to focus on things that made sense for them. It's always about making sure you protect yourself first, and also ensuring that our customers are getting that same Fibrenew level of quality. So we didn't lose any Fibrenew owners during the pandemic. We're very proud to say that. And we've done a number of things internally to really enhance the communication. We didn't want people to feel isolated. We started doing weekly huddle meetings where everybody just kind of came together and it was an opportunity to just talk shop, to make sure people weren't out on an island, make sure they didn't go into their basement and just hide, right? We wanted to make sure that business needed to continue, lives needed to continue, but at Fibrenew, our motto was take care of yourself first, take care of your business second.
That's so interesting. Just yesterday, I saw a poll about dissatisfaction in the corporate world for people, and one of the number one areas of dissatisfaction was people feeling like they work in a silo. And I had commented on this post that, in the franchise world, it could feel like that if the franchise system isn't run properly, and knowing that you're attached to others that are doing the same thing and are in the same ups and downs that you are, and having that ability to reach out, knowing that they're in the same boat and you're all kind of going along, so incredibly helpful. So the fact that you not only did that, but then you doubled down on it, probably was so incredibly reassuring to your group and just made it that much stronger coming through the storm, so to speak.
Collaboration's at the heartbeat of Fibrenew. When we're looking for people to join our franchise family, we're looking for people who love to collaborate. We often say you've got a friend in almost every city across the country. So if you're making a road trip, you can always find somebody to stop and have a cup of coffee with, have lunch with. And we saw many of our owners during this time actually reach out to their neighbors, reach out to their other family members, whether it's across town or across the state, and spend time together. Share on certain jobs where it makes sense. Train together, just apprentice with each other. And again, it's collaborative. Here at Fibrenew, our owners all have protected territories, protected trade areas. And so they never have to worry about me versus them. It's always us for the betterment of the brand. And that's one of the hallmark pieces of how we've been built over 3.5 decades, is collaboration at the heart of what we do for our owners.
There's so much to unpack there, and I think I'm going to go back to territory for our audience that might not understand what that means. A territory is your exclusive area that is just yours, and it can be based upon population size, and in Fibrenew's case, there's another piece, which is business size. Do you want to speak to that?
Absolutely. We're very proud to allow people, when they come into Fibrenew, to have the ability to build the territory that's right for them. We will actually schedule a mapping meeting with you to look at various zip codes around you. A territory here at Fibrenew is going to be a collection of zip codes with a targeted population of about 300,000 people. So we start there, and then we begin to drill down and look at the businesses that are in there. We allow you to create whatever territory makes the most sense for you. Obviously, we can't have more than one person in the same zip code, but it gives us very natural and clean boundaries, but it allows you to have control over your business, over your trade area. And for us, again, control equals smile.
We're going to keep coming back to those smiles. I love it. So you've got territory size, and then you've got another piece of this, which is candidates. And one of the things that I find so fascinating about Fibrenew is that you attract people from all different walks of life, literally. Please talk to us about that.
Well, sure. Over the past 3.5 decades, we've had everybody you can think of become part of our family, from CEOs of Fortune 50 companies to airline pilots to the last guy on the assembly line at the Ford Motor Plant, and everything else in between, Lisa. What we believe here at Fibrenew is that the formula is simple, right? Whether you watch a TV show or you read a book, the formula for business is process plus product equals success. We believe here at Fibrenew, with our entire fiber, that we can train anybody in the process, right? We could train you to go through. In fact, you're gonna laugh. One of the main questions I get, somebody starts talking to me about Fibrenew, is I go, Matt, I can't color inside the lines with my kids. I'm like, that's okay. We can train you to do that. We can train you through the process. So when you have execution of the process mastered, we know how to train that. And you combine that with the products. And one of the hallmarks at Fibrenew is that we make and manufacture over 200 products exclusively for our owners. 100% quality control. We distribute them exclusively to our owners. And what's nice about, in our industry, you can't do our types of restorations with off-the-shelf products. So when you have process, you have products, you have success. And again, for me, you know what success is? Smile for the customer. That's the difference.
Well, this is all incredible. 200 proprietary products. We're going to stop right here. We've got to take a quick commercial break and listen to our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to delve further into Fibrenew and also about what franchising is looking like for you and what the trends are as we continue to move along.
Kinda new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Boardwalks built for fun. Legendary rock and roll clubs.
This is how we do it. Hippity hop.
Casinos by the ocean.
Hippity hop.
Now that's New Jersey. 130 miles of beautiful beaches. Solid rock. And everything in between.
Look in the window.
Now that's New Jersey. Plan your New Jersey trip at visitnj.org. Waves of fun. Nights of excitement. And a trail of memories. Now that's New Jersey.
And welcome back to Franchise Focus. I'm your host, Lisa Lankowski, and we were having a fabulous discussion with Matt Woodcock of Fibrenew. And before the break, Matt, you talked about that you've got this dizzying array of products that are proprietary, over 200 products that your franchise owners are trained in how to utilize these in every aspect of, all the things that they can do within their business. And it's incredible. And you do all this, by the way, again, virtually, which is just fantastic. What trends are you seeing out there? Like you mentioned about campers. Everyone bought campers and people bought boats. I know several people myself that just recently bought a boat. So what are the trends that you're seeing?
Well, as with any business, it's very cyclical, of course. And with Fibrenew being as diversified as we are, thinking about the styles of business we operate in, we are seeing different trends. People are keeping items longer, right? That's a foregone conclusion. There's an article just last month that talked about the average age of a car on the road is nearing 10 years. If you bought a new car, you're getting a 10-year loan on a new car. Well, unfortunately, the interiors of cars are not designed to last a decade without a little bit of TLC along the way. So we're seeing a huge trend in keeping the vehicles looking right. You had mentioned RVs and campers. You're right. Everybody, when you couldn't travel, the next best thing was to go out and see nature. And RV floors, unfortunately, they just take a beating. And we have the ability, the skill set, and the products to be able to make a restoration on a torn or damaged RV floor. The other one you brought up were boats. And my goodness, when you mix leather, plastic, vinyl, stitching with the elements of the water and just being outside, you just have this recipe for all kinds of crazy things to take place, whether it's somebody tears it or you're just towing people behind the boat and you spill a soft drink and you try to mop it up with your beach towel. That sugar is going to erode things. So we've seen a huge increase in that type of business when it comes to trends. But really what it comes down to, and at Fibrenew, the three value propositions that we bring to the customer are solid. Right? The first one, we save time. Majority of what we do for our clients are done on site to the customer. We're saving hours. The one commodity, no matter who you are, Lisa, you cannot buy an extra hour in the day. By Fibrenew going to the customer, we're saving time. Second value proposition is money. Unless you're buying your furniture second or third hand, it's always cost effective to restore it rather than replace it. Right? If you have a $5,000 living room set and your cat scratches it, you're not throwing it out on the curb to go buy another $5,000 living room set. You're going to invest a percentage of that to have Fibrenew come over, restore it, bring it back to its like new condition. The third value proposition here at Fibrenew that really sets us apart is there's a huge eco-friendly component to what we do. We're keeping items out of landfills. We're keeping those family heirlooms that have handed down generation to generation. We're keeping them in service. And to bring this back to your original question about products, majority of the products that we manufacture, that we utilize here at Fibrenew, they're water-based. So we're not putting harmful chemicals into the ground. We're not contaminating the soil where we work. And when you have those three items of value proposition of time, money, and eco, you've got a reason for everybody to do business with us. And that's part of how we've grown for 3.5 decades.
I would be remiss if I did not mention that my father was an upholsterer, and so that's probably another reason why I have an affinity with Fibrenew. And yes, the environmental piece of this is critical, of not sitting there and just having some sort of tear and chucking it into a landfill and holding on to something, and understanding that you can repair it and repair it so well that you wouldn't even know that there was an issue with it. And it was also a lost art, reupholstering. Upholstering something, people, you can just sit there and replace it and chuck it out and get something new. But with what you guys are doing, it gives you an additional life of that product so that you can have it, or as you said, handing it down from family to family. I know myself, I have a little tear in my car right now, and I need it fixed by Fibrenew. So thank you for going through that, Matt. So when you talked before about all the different professions that seek Fibrenew out and end up becoming owners, one of the things that is always important for people to think about is, how are they going to fund this business? How is that going to happen? And what does that look like? What do you see that your candidates that come to you that are interested in Fibrenew, what are they doing most for funding?
It's such a topical question. It's such an important question, because not everybody actually has hundreds of thousands of dollars that they could just invest in a business today. So it's about understanding, how can we make this dream come true for you? And at Fibrenew, we're often fond of saying, if there's a desire, there's a way. And we know, based on our company and our track record, you'll never be turned down for any type of funding because of us, right? We've got the gold standard out there. But there are a couple of different ways that most people come in. And again, the first one, most people do just simply pay with cash. They have the equity, they have the resources, they have friends and family that can come together. But if that's not an option, the Small Business Administration is an amazing resource that our government has made available to us. There are a number of different funding options within the Small Business Administration, whether you're an individual, if you're served in our military, there's a specific branch just for you there. This is a great opportunity for you to leverage what we do, leverage what the government can do for you to help you grow your business. It's an amazing opportunity. I know Lisa and I, we both work with various companies. It's a great opportunity. Another vehicle most people are looking at right now is taking advantage of their retirement savings, their 401k or their 403 or whatever they might have. Take advantage of their retirement savings. There are programs available where you can utilize the money that you put away in a 401k. You can take advantage of it to support your business without paying penalties, without having to do an early withdrawal. There are various funds that will help you do that. And that's a great opportunity. I will tell you, when I bought my franchise, that's what I used. It's a great way for me to leverage my business. And I'll tell you, just on the side, I actually kept what my investments were. I wrote them down on paper before I moved them over to buy my business. And I tracked them over the decade while I was running my franchise versus what they would have kept in the market. I made substantially more in making sure that I invested in myself rather than in the
Right.
Another option, if you have a home equity line of credit is an amazing opportunity. Home values are through the roof these days, and you might be looking at your house and not realize that you've got $200,000 or $300,000 in equity built into your home. For many of us, that's money we're never going to see, right? That's money that we're either going to roll into another home, or we're going to hand down to a family member when we are no longer living in that home. It's a great opportunity to access some capital, not be risked. Right? Your house, your equity is there. So those are a few of the most common ones, Lisa. There's obviously a number more, but again, going back to my original statement, if there's somebody who really believes Fibrenew is in their future and it's in their heart, we're going to do everything we can to help them find the solution to make that dream come true.
Right, and going back to your other statement about using your 401k, I walk my candidates through all of these funding options, and it sounds so scary and sounds so cringy to sit there and think about touching your 401k, but you're investing in yourself, and you're diversifying your portfolio by coming up with this business. And so sitting there and utilizing this money in a different way, where the market, is going up and down and, it's going all over the place, but you're not draining your 401k, you're just taking a portion of it. So Matt, guess what? This has been fantastic, and we're out of time. I had so much more that I would have loved to have spoken with you about, but we covered so many things, and I thank you so much for coming on this show to talk about Fibrenew and let everyone understand what this concept is about. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa.
And what is the best way for people to reach you, Matt?
Sure. And I love talking about Fibrenew. I love talking about franchising in general. So if you're watching this and you want to just talk franchising, feel free to give me a call. If it's about Fibrenew, even better. I can be reached directly. My email is just Matt@Fibrenew, MATT @Fibrenew.com. If you want to give me a call, 1-800-345-2951. That'll ring right to my desk. And again, I just like talking to people about franchising in their future.
Well, keep on smiling, Matt. Thank you so much for joining Franchise Focus. And my name again is Lisa Linkowski, and I'm the owner of Milestone Franchising. If you want to know more about my company, you can reach me at milestonefranchising.com and tune in every week, every Friday at 1 o'clock.